One of the biggest mistakes in all of crypto is overtrading, over rotating, and spreading yourself too thin across too many tokens. Whether you're seeing YouTubers, crypto Twitter talk about a certain token, you want to ape in, you want to chase green candles. In this video, I'm going to go over why less is more, and focusing on your highest conviction bets will actually make you so much more money than chasing every single hype coin that you see on the timeline or that you see on YouTube. I'm going to go over exactly how we are going to make the most money this bull market by simply holding a few positions that we have high conviction in. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Before we jump into the market and the meat of the content, be sure to drop down below if you enjoy the channel, like the video down below, and subscribe for more. It really helps us get in front of more crypto bulls just like yourself who want to win during this bull market. And of course, a big shout out to all of our sponsors here on In the Game. We have some incredible sponsors from Nexus Labs, Blowfin, as well as 𝗪𝗏, and I want to give a big shout out today to Blowfin. Their growth as a centralized exchange has been absolutely phenomenal. One of the most trusted centralized exchanges in the game, and they give away so many different bonuses for all different sizes of traders. Whether you're trading $1,000, whether you're trading six figures, doesn't really matter. They reward big and small traders, and no centralized exchange jurisdiction restrictions, which means you can trade from anywhere without giving your information, no data needed from you. You hop on, you deposit, you start trading. So get a 10% cash back up to $1,000 future bonus right now by clicking the link in the description to sign up for Blowfin, the #1 no KYC centralized exchange in the entire industry. Now let's jump into it, as I agree with this tweet tenfold. Over the last few months, the market currently looks bullish, bearish, sideways, scary, promising, peculiar, and somewhat puzzling, right? AKA, it looks like the market. And right now, what has been happening in the market felt way more like a shakeout dip more than a, oh, the top is in type of dip. And with gold ripping, with all the things going on in the collectibles markets, a lot of different markets are absolutely thriving, and crypto is slightly suppressed at the moment. The inflows have not stopped, however. The institutions are still buying, people are still bridging on chain, stable coins are still at near all-time highs, which means a lot of people are loaded up ready to buy crypto on different exchanges. So all of the metrics to me screamed that it was a pretty good time to allocate into top altcoins, and that really did play out well. If we look at just the daily charts here, we see 𝗲𝗄𝗏 is up 32% on the daily, Crown is up 23% on the daily as well. We jump down, we see Fartcoin up 10%, Virtuals up 10%, 𝗕𝗏𝗡 up 10%, 𝗕𝗏𝗏, Hyperliquid, etc. So a lot of coins are really rebounding nicely off of the recent lows that we saw from Bitcoin. And I know a lot of people on crypto Twitter and YouTube really we're playing into the narrative that September is going to be doom and gloom. And look, it's only September 8th, so like anything can happen. But I do think just buying at these lows was the move. So if you've been allocating during this time where people are saying the top is in or whatever the case is, I think that that is definitely the big brain play. And as Miles tweets out here, all this talk about a cycle top is making me want to ape more. And that's really my mentality whenever I start seeing these things in any given way. When people are overly bullish or overly bearish, I think it does really pay to go the opposite way. And recently that was after all-time highs, going short and, you know, kind of saying, okay, the market is going to take a little bit of a pullback. But really, I think it's healthy all in all. And I do think Bitcoin will still reclaim new all-time highs heading into Q4. As our portfolios have been looking like this, yes, up and down, up and down. I do think that conviction will absolutely pay off to close out this year. And in this video, I really want to just go over why it's going to pay off way more if you just don't overtrade and don't overcomplicate things, okay? I actually think doing less is going to be more this cycle, and I'm going to go over that right now. I love this tweet here from Yellow Panther as he says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I think a lot of people need to hear this, is that you do not need to chase every single project. Picking the right project is way more important and sometimes can make you life-changing money. Quality over quantity, conviction over hype. Now, if you've been watching this channel for an extended period of time, you know that this has really been my mantra throughout 2025. I'm way more focused on a handful of tokens that I think are are going to have tremendous upside when the time is right, right? And we're going to go over those tokens here in just a second. But I really think that this is the way to allocate right now. And I did just kind of, ask AI, is it going to pay off more to hop narrative to narrative, or to hold some conviction coins in different niches that are simply going to win over the course of the cycle? And they gave me three things with pros and cons. So if you hold a small portfolio of conviction coins, it's going to be lower stress, fewer decisions, and less chasing trends. When you're chasing a trend, you're already late. So if you find yourself logging into Twitter one day and seeing, oh my, AI coins are running right now, that's not the time to go buy AI coins. You want to have positioned yourself before that, for example. Easier to research deeply and stay informed. And if your picks perform well, you capture long-term upside without being shaken out by noise. And everyone gets shaken out by the noise, right? I know way too many people who capitulated positions, and now they're looking at the market today and it's back in the green by 10, 15%, and they're wondering, like, did I miss the bottom? That's never something I want to cross my mind. I've been in crypto way too long. The philosophy of things in me, the psychology that you have as an investor is so important. So I never even want to be thinking about that at this point in time. Now, we will have an exit strategy, which I'm going to go over later this week in a full-blown video. The cons of this is concentration risk. If one or two do not perform, your whole portfolio could suffer, and you may miss out on short-term hype rallies. But honestly, if your psychology is healthy and have a little bit of a longer-term outset, and as long as you allocate to proper tokens with good upside, I think this is no problem at all. Now, if you trade in and out of hype cycles, you might have the potential for higher short-term gains if you catch them early, and you can take advantage of Q4 narratives like meme coins, AI tokens, or ETF-related tokens. But the cons is constant monitoring of news, social sentiment, charts, higher fees, taxes of short-term capital gains, and risk of buying tops and selling bottoms. Emotionally draining, and you're competing with algorithms and insiders. This suits active traders. And look, the amount of profitable traders on leverage, for example, or just in general, far or lower number than the unprofitable traders, okay? That's why the house always wins when there's a casino, and that's why these exchanges have so much liquidity to throw around, is because there are way more people who are trying to be active traders that lose to the market than win. And the statistics say that less than 1% of crypto participants will leave with profits. So you want to be in that 1%. And I do think overtrading can absolutely kill you in that regard. So the hybrid approach, and what many investors do, and what I would recommend, is keeping 70 to 80% of your conviction in your long-term plays, and use 20% as your trading stack, okay? And we're going to go over that right now. So I've always talked about how, and especially over the last 6 months, you want to have your allocations, okay? I don't want to have to wait for Hyperliquid. By the way, Hyperliquid, round of applause. This leverage long trade that we're in on Hype, and our spot positions from $27, the ecosystem plays that we've gotten into, we're primed for the upcoming potential season 2 airdrop of Hyperliquid. Just crossed new all-time highs today, sitting above $50. So if you took that leverage trade, or if you were buying Hype at $27, big congratulations to you. But this is a prime example, okay? This is one, I don't care about the market conditions right now. I don't care if we're dipping from 27 down to 13, and I don't care during these little dips, like from 48 down to 37. I believe in Hyperliquid throughout this cycle, and the thesis there is extremely simple, okay? This chart here of buybacks, you can see the red is Hyperliquid. They're absolutely dominating the market every single day, buying back 90% of their revenue into the token. They literally are scooping up percentages of the supply basically every single week off the market, which is providing a huge scarcity effect at this point in time. And hype holders watching the global stablecoin industry fight over who is going to pump their bags. Hyperliquid. At this point, I'm calling it higher liquid. I do think that we are going to see 60, 70, potentially even $100 from hype, and that leverage long trade I have a long-term outlook on. But this is a coin, for example, that I don't care to trade the tops and the bottoms. I wanted allocation whenever I bought, whenever I got in that leverage long. I make sure that my stops are very low and my liquidation levels are really out of the question at this point, considering where the price is now. This is a token I don't care. I want allocation into, and when it dips, I'm going to add more to it, and that contributes to that 20 to 30% stable coin stack that you want to have on the side. Let's make another example here. Something like Avalanche. This has been a slower mover, but now it's up 10% over the week, hovering this $25 level. I think when this does break out, that is going to pay off tremendously. I think $100 is in the picture for this cycle. So this is another token that I don't want to have to wait until it's running to buy. I want to stack my bags now and really take advantage of the multiples that I believe it's going to do. And then at that point in the cycle, we'll be able to really cash in on that. And that goes from a narrative basis, okay? I want AI coins. I want an exchange coin like Hyperliquid, an AI coin like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 or 𝗕. Okay, I don't care if AI is in right now as far as the crypto market pumping. I want to be in AI coins when that happens. Okay, so I think a lot of people are caught up. They get online, they see the collector narrative, they see prediction markets, they see AI, meme coins, this. You're already too late if you're seeing it flying across crypto Twitter. That has shown itself recently as we've seen 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which I'm very bullish on. I have a good amount of cash in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. The hype narrative on that literally lasted like 3 days, okay? Attention spans are way too short for you to finally see it on your timeline and then ape in. And this is probably, it's not a fun message to have to spread, right? But you want to be positioned in these things before it happens, okay? So you want to be in AI, you want to be in gaming, a meme coin, for example. So some of the other tokens that I'm very, very bullish on, I love hype, as Easy says here, and also 𝗏𝗏𝗏. I definitely think 𝗏𝗏𝗏 will be crossing $1 in the short term. As we see here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is currently up 25% this week. So those lows in the low 60-cent levels were absolutely phenomenal levels to be buying, as well as 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 at the low 300s like we called out last week. So these are prime examples of, look, if you think you're going to be able to catch every bottom and sell every top, that is literally impossible. So during those low sentiment time periods, like we just saw, make sure that you're properly allocated. So that way your psychology is so healthy and you're just ready for every narrative as they springboard, right? Stuff like KTA. Let's go find KTA here because it's rebounding quite nicely as well. Those recent DCAs in the 70-cent levels are looking phenomenal just over the weekly time period. We see here 74 cents last week, and we were calling out that this was an amazing buy. This thing's up 30% on the weekly time period. And as we see here, imagine thinking the fastest layer one in history, built with in-house KYC and AML, backed by the previous CEO of Google for 10 years and top 50 richest person on earth, while heading into a secular bull market from the fundamental adoption of financial institutions, should be valued under $1 per coin, knowing that you still have dinosaur crap coins like Tron and Cardano at a $30 billion market cap, right? So you want to be positioned in these things now, not when you start seeing them blasted all over your feed. And I truly do think even 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, KTA, 𝗕, Hyperliquid, not everyone, there's so many people sidelined on these tokens. And whenever it does start reaching escape velocity, I truly do think people are going to start FOMOing in. Retail is going to come in, see some of these tokens and want a piece of it because they're seeing it all over the timeline. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be positioned now, right? And I think the prime narrative to harp in on would be gaming. Like gaming is so down bad as far as sentiment over the last year. And if this does pump this cycle, if you just take a couple calculated bets, right? Ronin, Pengu, and I'm considering Pengu in the gaming stack at this point because their project, Pudgy World, in a partnership with Mythical Games, is printing at this point in time. $7.5 thousand floor on these power Pudgies. Gaming resurgence, very nice to see after a year of turmoil. Sometimes the simple games with the simplest economies and the right IP are the perfect recipe for success. Look at all of these. Over the last 30 days, 200 billion views on Pengu, the Pudgy World game, Pengu partnered with NASCAR, tradable on Arkham, tradable on Robinhood, just the amount of things that happen every single month on this token and just within the Pudgy ecosystem, to me screams that when the market does cater to gaming, when it caters to meme coins, when it caters to anything regarding the crypto culture, this coin is going to absolutely lead the charge. I'm looking for Pengu here. Here we are. And it's up 20% this week, right? So we were allocating below that 3-cent level. This is the way you win. You buy the low sentiment. And then when things start getting frothy, when you see these things pasted all over your crypto timeline, that this is the next big thing and it's pumping, that's when we're going to be taking profits. So mindset is everything. And less is going to be more this cycle. I can 100% assure you that. And then you might be thinking, well, what am I going to do in crypto every day, Hustle, if I'm only buying a couple coins and holding them and I'm just placed in some narratives? That's really the best place to be. But you can spend time in these ecosystems, like farming your airdrop for abstract, farming the hyperliquid round 2, looking for opportunities. A lot of people made money on the Somnia airdrop, Open Ledger. We also have this Wednesday the CyberKongz airdrop. If you've been trading NFTs, you might qualify for that. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's prediction markets, which, by the way, I'm going to do a full-blown show on the prediction market narrative, and we may even have some dedicated content coming to the channel around predictions markets, because this is just as fun of a market to participate in as crypto. And if you play it right with the right strategies, you can literally day trade these markets just like crypto. So we're going to go over that as well later this week. But I think there's so many opportunities to keep yourself busy rather than just scouring the market every day as to what am I going to buy today? Like that's not the way you're going to win in crypto. And then make sure you just allocate in a few low caps like AI, 𝗪𝗏, gaming, stuff like 𝗪𝗏𝗏, as we see here. They're going open source. It's going to be adding to their runway. The percentage team tokens claims sold. They're literally showing their whole transparency now moving forward as far as what's going on behind the scenes. One of the best absolute low caps in the market at this point in time. So have a couple long shot bets, but really focus 60% of your portfolio on the majors, and I think we're all going to come out on top. Do not focus on overtrading. Every time you watch a new YouTube video, do not be thinking, I have to buy a new coin today. That is not how you are going to win in this market. I can almost guarantee you that, because right now we're not in alt season. We have been in a select alt season. And what I mean by that is coins like Hyperliquid, coins like Ethena, the growth that they've shown over the last 6 months just scream at you that this is a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a select others market, not a whole others market. The alt season has not happened, but there are proper coins out there doing numbers, and that if you've allocated into them over time and just chilled, take your hands off the keyboard type of thing, you are definitely winning this cycle. And a lot of people don't want to hear that because altcoins have been frustrating across lots of narratives. But buy coins with major catalysts and major bull factors, whether it's buybacks, revenue, catalysts, updates, hot narratives, whatever the case is, and literally just chill. I promise you we can come back here in 2 to 3 months and you're going to be happy that you did so. So as much as this was a rant more than here's the coins that I'm buying, I think you have to hear this. And if you're holding 30 tokens, unless you have millions of dollars in crypto, I don't think you should be holding 30 coins. That's just my opinion. I think if you're spreading yourself too thin, you're going to look back at some of your winners and think, wow, I should have just literally almost full stacked 15, 20% of my portfolio into some of these coins, and I would have been much well off. And I believed in this coin so much. Why didn't I put so much money into it? You don't want to be looking back at this cycle like that. So that's my advice from someone who's been in crypto for the last 8 years, is size up into your conviction bets. You will not be disappointed, especially whenever it does catch those catalysts. Later this week, as mentioned, we're going to be talking predictions markets. We're going to be talking about take profit strategies. As much as I'm telling you guys about entries, your exit is actually way more important. So those videos will be coming up this week. Comment your thoughts down below. Do you hold a select few tokens? Do you hold 50 tokens? I would love to hear your thoughts, but I'm consolidating my bets. I'm taking a back seat a little bit. I'm letting my winners play out. And then that 15-20% stack of stable coins, we can degen, especially when the market gets frothy and new memes are popping up and big trade opportunities are occurring. We can have fun at that time. But right now is planting seeds that are easy, low-hanging fruit winners for the beginning of the alt season. So guys, like the video down below, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.